Oh, God, I hate threes. Not even gonna talk about what I'm doing in my threes battles, because you should be able to tell for a number of them I have no fucking idea. I used to be really good at threes. The first time I got to Kyber was actually in threes. You can ask my friend Disrael in Caw. I used to be good at threes. With GLs, I have no fucking idea what I'm doing. Yeah, I don't know, man. And it's not like, I'm gonna get a comparative buy. Everybody at my GP levels got both GLs. Not just both GLs, but both GLs with full Zetas, Relic 7, full 6E, Ultimates. I'm not getting away with any freebies up here. But I can't imagine it's any different at any other level, really, because GLs in threes is just fucking insane. Yeah, anyway. Like I said in my last video, my phases 2 and 3 LSGOTB, I have been quote-unquote working from home for 2 months. Can you tell? Can you tell? Do you hear the eccentricity in my voice because I'm driving myself insane? I've been taking a lot of annual leave, actually, because HR was breaking balls. I had 12 weeks of annual leave, and I'm only allowed to carry over 9.5 weeks year to year, which is 2 years worth of accrual. And I've been at my current place of employment for quite some time, pretty much since I graduated college. So yeah, I got some time to kill or to burn, so I did. 4-day work week, man. We gotta make that shit a thing, because it is awesome. I've been using that time. I'm working on a new helmet. Bella and my wedding got pushed to next year, next May, as opposed to it being in 2.5 weeks. So I got some extra time on my hands. Figured I would make a new helmet. I saw a really cool inspiration that's looks like part Batman. It's actually 2 helmets that were the inspiration, but one of them is actually a helmet that I saw that was a Loth Wolf inspired helmet. If you've watched Star Wars Rebels, you know what that is. So it's a Loth Wolf helmet inspiration, and then I'm going to tweak it a little bit to make it look kind of more Batman-y, because it's actually intended to be worn by one of my groomsmen at the wedding, and that groomsman is obsessed with Batman. So I figured let me make this for him. Even though I'm keeping it. I hope he doesn't think that he's keeping it after the wedding, because that shit ain't happening. Yeah. At a couple points, I kind of wanted to invest in a 3D printer, but that's cheating. I told Bella that if we ever... Well, I was actually looking at houses in Connecticut, a 1.5 miles from my best friend and best man, because I'm kind of sick and tired of New York City right now. And I told Bella that if I buy this house that is 1.5 miles away from my best friend's house, I'm gonna have a fucking shed, and I'm gonna do metalworks. You know what? Fuck the shed. It's gonna be a full-on barn. Because the thing I was looking at was 2-acre lot, 4-bedroom house with a pool, in-ground pool, and it's up right now for $380,000. I paid almost double that for my shoebox apartment here in Manhattan. So what the fuck am I doing here, man? So definitely reevaluating my life choices up until this point. Not even because of Corona necessarily, but certainly being home for 8 weeks and having a lot of time to think and evaluate stuff, and also having to clean out, fix up, eventually list and try to sell my dad's apartment, where I grew up, actually. If anyone that's listening needs a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment in Manhattan, in New York City, on the Upper East Side, I have two. I have two for sale, or that will be going for sale as soon as Corona gets the fuck out of our faces, which may not be for a couple months. One of them has a home office. It can be used as a 3rd bedroom or a home office or a playroom or whatever. So seriously, I have 2 Upper East Side of Manhattan apartments to sell, both of which are at a minimum 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom. Both co-ops. If you are even acutely familiar with Manhattan real estate, I don't have to go into too many specifics. Everything that you would expect from an Upper East Side 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment or co-op, that probably whatever you know about that probably applies here. They are not cheap. The maintenances are like rent, but you're paying for a premium zip code, locale. I mean, they say in real estate, I mean, I don't know shit about real estate, honestly, but they say it's location, location, location. My dad's is literally 2 blocks away from, actually, 2 blocks away from Mike Bloomberg's townhouse. That is not an exaggeration. It is 2 blocks away from Mike Bloomberg's townhouse. I'm not talking about Mayor's Mansion. I'm talking about Mike Bloomberg's townhouse. So my dad's apartment is 2 blocks from there. My mom's apartment is actually about a 10-minute walk east of my dad's apartment. And it is on East End Avenue, and it is about 12 or so blocks from the Mayor's Mansion. So if you're in the market, let me know. Hit me up. I have a vested interest in selling both of those apartments, or either of those apartments, full disclosure. Outside of that, getting back to reevaluating things, yeah, this house in Connecticut, $380,000 for 4-bedroom, 2-acre lot with a shed and an in-ground pool. That's sounding mighty fine right now. Mighty fine. I like my apartment currently. It's a 1-bedroom. It's a small 1-bedroom. I am paying a premium for the zip code and the fact that I have an apartment-length terrace that is southern-facing. And despite the fact that I grew up in Manhattan, I like to think that I have a green thumb. I grow all kinds of berries and vegetables and taproot stuff on my terrace, fully recessed. I get I probably get 10 hours of direct sunlight on my terrace in the summer. That's how serious it is. My dad grew up on a farm in Westchester County, so he taught me very early on to grow fruits, vegetables, berries, what have you, and I continue to do that today. Also, I'm Jewish, and the less I have to spend on produce in Manhattan, which is very expensive, the better. So we still do from time to time buy the things that I grow, but we certainly buy far less of them as a result of me growing stuff. No, for those of you that ask or are thinking whether or not I grow marijuana, I do not. Maybe one day, though. That would be fun. I don't think my job would be too thrilled about that, but, you know, when I retire, fuck yeah. Yeah, I got strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, tomatoes, peppers, eggplants. I don't even like eggplants. My mom does. String beans. Yeah, a lot of shit. It keeps me relatively, comparatively sane. By the way, this comp that I'm using here versus Ray doesn't work. I thought maybe it would. It does not. All right, enough about me, because no one gives a shit about my life. You want to hear about Star Wars or the markets or Corona, presumably. Or maybe nothing at all. Or Rosie. I mean, Rosie is a spectacular beast. Right, Duggo? She's giving me a side eye right now. Yeah, so the markets were up again today. This week has been really good. Today is Wednesday, by the way. I'm not sure exactly when I'm releasing this video, but at the time of this recording, it is in fact still Wednesday. The markets were good today. We might give back some tomorrow, Thursday. That would be normal. We don't, like I've said numerous times, ad nauseum, really. We don't want to get too ahead of ourselves. The market is already fairly disconnected from the economy. The markets are doing a lot better than the economy is right now. People are reopening. In some cases, that is an extremely measured and calculated step and process. And in many other cases, that is not a calculated or measured process, but rather potentially a rash decision that hopefully will not set us back. I said in my previous video that I am very pleasantly surprised with how Georgia is going. That's excellent. Like I said in the other video, I'm very glad to be wrong about Georgia. However, Florida apparently is having still quite a bit of trouble. Now, I don't know the demographics related to that in terms of Corona. I think it's academic for everyone that Florida has an extensive middle-aged and or elderly population. That shouldn't surprise anyone. So I don't know if the rise in cases in Florida can be attributed to the elderly population, who are generally more at risk for corona, both contracting it and, God forbid, succumbing to it. Yeah, so I do not know whether that is the case or not. I would not be surprised if it is the case or not, but regardless, we don't want to see upticks in cases. I think Texas had a slight uptick. I mean, I would assume that governments are preparing for and expecting at least slight upticks. It would be nothing short of a miracle for numbers to not tick up upon partial reopening. That seems highly unlikely. My understanding, and anyone that is listening that feels otherwise can pipe up or correct me if they think I'm wrong or if I am wrong. My understanding about bending the curve is really to lower the rate of infection so that we don't overwhelm the hospital systems all at once. I cannot obviously speak for other states, but here in New York so far, or at least of late, the hospital systems seem to be managing the crisis rather well, considering. That's not to say that there have not been a lot of deaths, because there have. That's not to say that medical professionals aren't getting sick, because they have and are and probably will continue to. But compared to the 700 plus people that were dying in the state of New York a day at the height of this, we are doing considerably better. Historically, I was not Andrew Cuomo's biggest fan. I thought he leaned a little bit too far to the left for my liking, but he has since made me a fan. Does that mean I like everything about him? No, absolutely not. Although I will say his two twin daughters, both, I think they're like 25 or 26, so just a little too young for me, Bella notwithstanding. My lord, they are drop dead gorgeous. If you, not to objectify them, even though I am, if you care to, Andrew Cuomo's daughters, I think they're both M's. Like I think one's Mariah. Who am I kidding? I know their names. One's Mariah and one is Michaela. But Michaela, I think. My lord, they are absolutely stunning. They clearly take after their mother. Because of the two Cuomo brothers, we both know that Chris Cuomo is the handsome one. Not to say that Andrew Cuomo is ugly, because he isn't. He is a very rugged gentleman, but Chris Cuomo is a handsome devil. And I do not mind saying that. Anyway, all this to say, Cuomo has pulled me to his side a little bit. I still think that he is a little bit too liberal on certain things, especially considering that aside from downstate New York, New York State is actually kind of conservative. If you go to a number of upstate parts, you might think you were in Pennsylvania. We also do border Pennsylvania, so there is that. Downstate, obviously, unsurprisingly, hyper-liberal, even for me, who grew up here. I am a fiscally conservative Democrat, if that makes sense. But I'm also like a limited libertarian. Like, I think people should be allowed to do what they want to do until and unless they cause physical or emotional harm to themselves or someone. And I'm talking immediate physical harm, like smoking cigarettes harms you, like objectively harms you. But whatever, you want to smoke cigarettes, smoke cigarettes. Marijuana arguably has fewer adverse health effects than tobacco. I don't even know that that's even a debate anymore. The only thing is that marijuana is on the mind-altering side, whereas tobacco, nicotine, it'll give you a little bit of a buzz, but it's not mind-altering like marijuana is. I frankly haven't had a buzz from cigarettes in about 6 years, so I don't even remember what that feels like. But yeah, so I'm a limited libertarian, fiscally conservative, socially very liberal. I love the environment. I love animals. I love the gays. Yeah, I'm not for government handouts, though. At least not how they've been employed recently. Again, Corona notwithstanding, the government did a very good thing in giving handouts, bailouts, and pumping liquidity into the economy during this crisis, or at least so far. Hopefully they'll still do more. But yeah, we would absolutely 100% be underwater had the government not done the things that it did. So while the government's response may have been imperfect, we are surviving.